2021. So much has happened already. That Hancock doing his thing, the Euros when we thought it was coming home, and our dear President. But one thing that's happened in abundance this year is by-elections. By-elections, the Christmas special to parliamentary democracy. You don't know what's going to happen, who's going to come back from the dead, and who's going to win. Sometimes they're incredible, sometimes they're underwhelming.
We are the ones that think but do not know. I'm Rob Blair, and this is Curtis, the host.
Hello.
By-elections are by their nature unstable.
This is because the party cannot bank on a popular incumbent like they can in regular parliamentary elections. This is mainly due to the fact that by the very nature of calling a by-election, the candidate of the incumbent is either done something illegal or dead, so they can't get them to canvass for them.
This results in a change of leadership, and therefore, usually, a change in party, as the most popular candidate who has won the party the last election obviously has to leave. These by-elections have been quite common in the UK. We've had 3 so far in 2021 this year. One of those was in Bartley and Spen, one of those was in Scotland, and one of those were in Hartlepool. Bartley and Spen is in Yorkshire, and Hartlepool is in the north as well. The one in Bartley and Spen and Hartlepool were all over the news, I remember at one point, and Mr. Keir, it's coming home, Starmer. Mr. Keir, it's coming home, Starmer was very, very excited at winning one of them.
Winning one seat.
If you come into UK politics from abroad, let's just take this as a given, right? Labour is very unpopular, especially. I mean, now that the Red Wall, which was an area of the north, traditionally Labour voting, essentially collapsed in on itself on a series of ordinary elections. The fact that in a by-election in England, the Labour candidate could bounce back was quite surprising.
Yeah.
In fact, even in Clacton, UKIP managed to
win a majority of 59%. Yeah. Which is legendary in by-election polling, you know.
I mean, 59.7% is a lot, and I mean, even the Conservatives were below that. In Hartlepool, the story was quite different. The Conservatives won,
I believe, but and that had been a Labour seat since 1959. It is the traditional Labour heartland.
And I mean, the traditional Labour heartland is quite small anyway.
Well.
As a result, in August, though, the UKIP party did poll at 64% of the elections, so it's clearly not. They weren't.
That's the Clacton one, not the Hartlepool one.
Yes. So another example is the Respect Party. Sounds very nice, doesn't it?
Led by your man, George Galloway, who made an appearance at
Bartley and Spen
as well, you know. He's always popping up. It's a recurring character.
It is a very strange mix of socialism, Islamism, socialism, Islamism, anti-Semitism, anti-EUism, if that's a thing. Anti most things.
No, but I can't really think of a thing that they like. They're not very respectful.
Well, except the working classes of European countries.
As long as they're not, pro-EU or pro-Israel.
Well, this Mr. Galloway has praised the Red Army. He's criticised the European Union, which was
he met Saddam Hussein on many occasions.
he's a pretty weird bloke, all right? And he won
He pretended
a
to...
seat in Bradford West. I don't know why it's not called West Bradford, but he won a seat in Bradford West. I mean, it's a working class area, but even so, he is a very strange character.
I mean, like, when we were at war in Iraq, he said he was in support of Saddam Hussein. I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, he's an anti-colonialist, and somehow he thinks the Iraq War was fought against the native people trying to, survive colonial oppression, which Saddam Hussein...
Oh, and that well-known anti-colonialist Saddam Hussein, that one-known
poor man.
none of the people. Well-known.
I mean, like, he supported a regime...
That socialist brother.
He supported a regime famous for its gangster capitalism. UKIP won a seat.
He's a socialist brother, man.
UKIP, right, are a very right-wing party. They were more popular in the Brexit referendum, and I think the Brexit party managed to beat them or surpass them with the same leader as the UKIP had beforehand. And it was a small splinter group of the UKIP which managed to surpass UKIP, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just the level of strange candidates that also seem to turn up in these by-elections, like the Miss Britain party, which is all candidates from a beauty pageant.
That got 0.2% of the Clacton vote. And by the way, the part of the polling labelled other for smaller parties and independents had 1.2%. So 0.2 of that, that.
I mean, come on.
59 people.
59 people went, all right, okay, let's roll.
I mean, even. Shall we mention the independent?
No.
I think we're going. There are some worse candidates. Let's just
say
say
that. Worse candidates that we're not.
We're not going to broadcast.
We're not going to broadcast. We're in respectable journalism.
I think children can watch this channel, so yeah, we're respectable journalism. But that just goes to show that really anything can happen.
Like, that's why I refer to them as the Christmas special of journalism, not journalism,
politics.
Because anyone can return from the dead. I mean, George Galloway just seems to... His occupation is...
I mean, what did you say about Ian Paisley? I mean, yes, this is a well-known phenomenon in politics.
I mean, Ian Paisley won a seat in a by-election, and I mean, he was a priest with no political experience.
Other than creating paramilitary force militias out of ultra-religious, like bordering on cults. I mean, he's a sound politician.
He sounds level-headed.
So if a by-election is declared in your constituency, run for the hills.
Run for the hills.
And vote for a safe party.
Do not vote for George Galloway.
He will probably appear in most seats, which is strange because, I mean, he doesn't live in those constituencies.
No, and he says he did. And he said the only reason he stood in, I was trying to do a George Galloway impression and I abandoned that. The only reason he stood in Batley and Spen was to get rid of alleged Zionists, according to him. Keir Starmer.
Keir, Labour is coming home, Starmer.
Keir is coming home,
which is something he said after he won a single by-election.
And he looked so happy with himself.
Oh, that was brilliant.
So happy. So, in conclusion, by-elections, you never can tell.
And there's the way you can... I mean, apparently just because he has Jewish children.
Yeah.
He is a Zionist.
Called him a Zionist.
That's wonderful.
I mean, it's just, what's next? I'm a Marxist because I like the colour red.
I mean, there were by-elections in Scotland at which you had large, small areas of Scotland sort of moving over to, I think, the SNP side, wasn't it? SNP seem to grow in some of the areas just at the mouth of the Firth of Forth and other areas, which is unusual because usually by-elections go to the most random people. But in Scotland, they seem to be eaten up by some of those parties.
But
like the Greens, I think, had eight seats?
8 seats, but they didn't show up on the map, which is strange.
Yes, it's
But
a mix of parties. I mean, Scotland and Wales are proving. Well, London is the only Labour area left. A little valley in Wales and a tiny couple of spots in Scotland, one of which has actually moved over to the SNP side. So that is basically what is left of the Labour heartland. The only major place is London, which is
the well-known heart of the working class is Lincoln. It's Lincoln. Yeah, they know about work. I mean, we're not exactly.
This is probably a joke that you'll only get in the UK.
Champagne socialist.
Yes. Definitely.
We're talking to you. It's coming home, Starmer.
I think that was a bit unfair.
No, is it really?
Yeah, coming home.
Yeah.
I don't think Labour is coming home anytime soon.
Well, we thought England was coming home, and
it didn't. What exactly? My point, cares.
Yeah. So, anyway, no, but in conclusion, just get out of. Don't vote in by-election. But if you do, vote for one of the main parties.
And if you're someone hoping to run in any constituency, look for a by-election.
Run in a by-election!
In an area that you might not be interested in.
We should run in a by-election.
I think so. The independent state of, I don't know, some tiny island off the coast.
No, because genuinely, my aim is to get more than 59 votes. That is my aim in life. More than a certain candidate.
Yeah. A certain candidate that we will not mention because of, we would not like to be banned. Yes, if you want to look that one up, there's Clacton, the 0.2% of the vote.
Charlotte Rose.
Right. I think that's it.
Yeah, so I hope you found this interesting. If you didn't, God, this has been a boring 12 minutes.
The ones you think did not know.
Do not know. We'll be back in a few weeks with a review kind of discussion on The Thick of It.
And some other...
And Alan Partridge.
And some other satirical comedy.
And how like, social left-wingness, like, it's kind of, and you know, how does it actually have a political left?
And well, also, what is acceptable in a comedy, and especially a satire-based comedy?
And can you be topical or steer clear of real political events?
And I mean, there's Borat. We might talk about that.
Lest we forget.
Right. All right. That was it from us.
Thank you. Like, subscribe.
Oh, come on. They're adults. They can decide things like that. All right. Bye.
Bye.